Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. And today we have a lot of stuff on XRP, so make sure you watch it all the way till the end so you don't miss out on any of this important news. Now, the first tweet comes from XRP Fig, legendary figure. He says, "Just got this email." And basically, it's an email from Bank of America which says, "There's no outbound wire transfer fee when you make an international wire transfer in foreign currency." Now, of course, straight off the bat, this sounds very positive for literally all XRP investors or everybody involved with cryptocurrency, everybody involved with the newer financial world and all of that. First of all, because like I always explain on my second channel, my finance channel, link is in the description, but also on right here, we right now are part of a bigger problem, and that is that money is being spent too carelessly on payments. And what I mean with that is right now it costs so much money to spend money that is kind of crazy. And what I mean with that is mostly you want to send money to your friend, it costs money, but you want to do a business transaction. For example, somebody wants to pay me from the euro to dollar in PayPal. It's going to cost a lot of money and all of that. There's just a lot of friction, a lot of bad parts about this, and it's the standard. In a couple of years, though, like Christine Lagarde and those other guys over there have said, it's just going to be normal where all these payments are going to be zero. Payments will not cost money anymore. Right now, it's so strange to think, right? Because you're like, a payment has to do with money. It will always cost a little bit. No, it will be completely free eventually. Bank of America is taking a step that way. We know the Bank of America connections with Ripple, and I can understand when you're seeing that something abroad will be utilizing a zero fee when transferring from different currencies, that it will have to do with XRP then. But Bank of America earlier confirmed that XRP is not liquid enough, like is said down below here. Nothing to do with XRP, it doesn't. Bank of America has discussed how there's not enough liquidity for them to use ODL, and ODL is targeting payment providers, not banks. Partially, that's true. Partially, that's not true. I mean, if Ripple has the chance, they will always work with a bank, right? If they can. And I don't really know exactly what type of payments they're talking about here. Like what type of wire transfers. I guess if you're talking about a wire transfer, the bank is kind of operating as a payment provider there, right? So I could also understand how Ripple would play their role in that. But I'm also thinking whether or not Ripple still played a role in this announcement and all this altogether. Like, even though it might not utilize XRP on its own, first of all, it's a good step in the direction of payments becoming free. Bank of America doing it is a very, very big step. But also, since it's such a close partner of Ripple's, do they still have some influence, or do they have something to do with this? Or are they still connected to RippleNet with all of this, or what? I don't know. I have nothing to tell you there, but I'm interested to knowing more. So if you guys have any, let me know in the comment section. Then a older, but still a golden interview, or I guess appearance, was from Barry Garlinghouse over on CNN. Ripple CEO, XRP works for customers behind the scenes. Now, an important one to know here, an important one to note is, as you can see right here, yes, now they have a lot more banks signed and they should be cleared by watching. If you watch the video here, 2 minutes long, you notice that a part of it is that XRP works mostly behind the scenes and that Ripple operates at a lower level than what you see all the time, right? Which is also why I've also said a lot of these partnerships, they're never going to come to light. So Ripple might have a ton of fundamental partnerships going on already. They might have announced so many things with the governments and things like that, but you'll never know, you'll never hear about it because that's the way Ripple goes, right? That's the way Ripple works. It's the framework. It's in the bottom. It's in the bottom, I guess. Just it's in the groundwork. You know, if you're building a house, it's like in the metalwork. You guys know what I mean here. And that's also why a lot of people might be seeing Ripple as kind of obsolete, useless, or things like that because you're not seeing them on the foreground. But no, they're working really, really hard to get everything sorted out, to get everything out there to build. The problem is, which is a small one as of this one, but the problem right there is just that it will take a little bit more time for people to recognize. But we also know they are getting a ton of partnerships going on. There are more banks hopping on. And actually talking about the devil, or speaking of the devil, I have a couple of articles talking about exactly that. Let's see here which one exactly it was now. Let me see here. It was, Let's check here, guys. It was just the next one in the list, whatever. Boom. At least 38 of the world's 100 biggest banks have reportedly tested, integrated, or invested in Ripple's cross-border payment technology. Everyone will use XRP. 38 of the world's largest 100 banks have tested, integrated, or yada yada yada. The whole point, I think, is clear right here, and in my opinion, it's also a pretty big deal. All right, even though this is a little while ago, it's a pretty big deal because if that was already going on at that time, can you guys understand where we are at right now? Can you guys understand that? So even though, again, this article here says to have come out in January 20th, you guys understand that if we were already there in January, where we are at right now, they're not telling us, they're not updating us as much. But I'm just making assumptions here that they've not been sitting still, even though the whole bad situation came around. You guys know what I mean, the pandemic. These 38 were just what we know of back then out of the world's 100. But that's partially leaving out all the partnership that could have come this year. And another part is leaving out all the partnerships that do not come to light. Because as I've said before, I think a lot of it is being, not disclosed, maybe not even ever. And I don't know how people are not pointing out that this is from like months ago. Or maybe the date here is wrong, but I believe it is from January. I believe it wholeheartedly. Let's actually, we can confirm here by looking at XRP Arcade. No, we cannot. I thought maybe we could check out when he wrote an article, but that's not the case. There's no link to different things on here, so it's difficult to say. But if it says January here, then I'm assuming that's still the way it goes. The problem also is, though, it's pretty hard to get yourself another update unless XRP Arcade updates himself as well with all of this. I don't think so, though. He says this list is based on 2019, and I believe maybe the Ripple partnerships are also based upon that. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, while recording this becomes very difficult. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, and that's basically it. All right, so they haven't connected any newer names, or maybe none of them have come out. Could very well be so. I actually find it pretty hard to confirm this because we know a lot of these names, but I don't know exactly what type of connections and if they would suffice, right? Because Citigroup, I've heard that name so many times before, but what exactly type of connection they have to Ripple, yeah, I can't tell you straight at the bat. I should have looked into it then. Same for Goldman Sachs. We know one of the guys that works there switched over, but if Goldman Sachs has a connection to Ripple, I can't say. Same for Credit Suisse. I know so many of these so well, but I don't know what their connections are. So, yeah. Next one. XRP early adopter Nium forays into Costa Rica as Ripple's Ubri partners over 35 unis. Partnership with Tela Dollar gives Nium the opportunity to create a fintech platform for consumers, SMBs, banks, and financial institutions. Yeah, XRP early adopter forays into Costa Rica, yada yada yada. Pretty damn cool, guys, but not too big. Then I saw a tweet from XRP Owl or King Solomon. He said, "Don't worry about these price drops, everyone. They're probably just dipping the market one final time before the quantum financial system goes live. I suspect we all become instantly rich on September 1st. And then a little bit of the giggles. Because partially he's like right by saying, don't worry, about the prices dropping. You shouldn't be worried about that. The second part, the markets are dipping one final time before the quantum financial system goes live. It could theoretically speaking be true. Even though it's a joke, it could theoretically speaking be true. Or it's just one final dip. And last part, of course, he expects us all to be rich September 1st. That's another joke. But theoretically speaking, it could also be, true if something crazy were to happen. Now, what I would say about all of this, though, is even though this is all sarcastic, there is a little bit of sense in a lot of things materializing on one date, but I would never really put that much faith into one day. So basically, if you ever think, this is all going to happen on this date or that day, that's cool, but it will most likely not affect the price. Why is that? It's because of what is explained by Benjamin Graham in The Intelligent Investor, again, kind of backed up by Warren Buffett, is that people all know the same type of stuff, right? We were in a mostly just a semi-strong market or something like that, or even no, I would maybe even say a strong market where even insiders, they can most likely trade it well, Yeah. Okay, so let's say semi-strong, where insiders can still take profits because they can. If information comes out to the public, we all know about it, we will all act accordingly. And thus, it's not like, oh, but you're the only guy who knew about this. Like, maybe that's so for the first 15 minutes of the news coming out, or the first 1 minute. But afterwards, there's tons of people having that news, so they will act accordingly. If we all know something great is going to happen for XRP on the 1st of September, literally everybody's going to be buying in because we all know something great is going to happen. So once the first comes, the price mostly doesn't surge. It's only if it's really a questionable thing. Like, for example, is XRP going to be used by Amazon? If the 1st of September comes the verdict, then once they say yes, then the price could surge, right? But because that's when you have uncertainty. But if it's an announcement with an implementation date or things like that, people get happy off of the announcement. And once the implementation date comes, people have nothing to really hype up for or to go into or anything like that. It really doesn't do that much. Which is also why I'm like, you shouldn't trust dates unless maybe it's a date of an announcement. But even then, announcements most of the time don't do that much for the price anymore, unless we're talking about Tron. Ian Northing says, US stocks are flirting with record highs and CEOs are cashing in their chips. CNN. Pretty damn crazy. I don't know the full situation. I'm not checking out into it too much because I can understand where this is coming from, but also it's just a little bit of an idea that you guys should be thinking about, right? Look, think about it. Keep it in the back of your head. And also, people buying up Link at $15 with a circulating supply of 350 million, total supply of $1 billion. But I'm buying QNT with a circulating supply of only 12 million and a total of 14.6 at $10, not to mention what's going on. All I would say about that is I personally don't think you should be comparing coins like this. However, he's to a certain degree right, where it's like, looking at just these numbers, there's a high chance of QNT then getting up to, a higher value than Link. However, you're valuing somebody else's, phase 10, for example, with your phase 1. Right? Or that's the same by saying like, oh, look how Amazon has grown over time. Like, I can never compete with them, or I would never be as big as them, or look at where they are. If I only did this, I would have been so successful and things like that. You're comparing yourself, your progress, or anything like that to somebody else's like phase 100. Amazon is like, it's just for the sake of saying this, it's over 20 years old, and 20 years in, the parts that they're doing now, they've been really perfecting their skill. Apple, it's not new. Apple's not new at all. Apple's been here for a very long time. It's not like if you want to make a new phone brand that you all of a sudden can't become the number one anymore. Even if you wanted to become a crypto guy or whatever, or a trader, it doesn't mean that, because these guys are all making tons of money already, that you're bad or you're slow or things like that. These guys just maybe had different priorities or different thought processes at one point in time. But you can always still, first of all, get better, but also at least match them, I should say, or just match whatever you wanted to see in that sense. Maybe you're not going to get as rich as Bezos, but theoretically speaking, you could. And also, just again, don't compare those things with each other. And here it's also like, if you're going to create a coin, it will most likely not have the same profit ratio as XRP has, right? Logically speaking, it's just common sense that you also don't expect that. But still, some guys are like, yeah, so I should be not buying into it because it's already so high. Well, if the fundamentals of XRP are already way better, it's not that crazy that the price is also reflecting that. But okay, guys, that was it for today's video. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you press the like button and subscribe, and I will definitely see you guys again in another crypto video. Enjoy your day.